welcome back to our homestead. My name is Sarah from Living Traditions Homestead, and today Samantha and I are going out to the woods to do some foraging. We're going to go see what kind of wild edibles we can find, and some wild medicinals. On Facebook, I follow a page called Once Upon a Weed, which is run by a lady who's local here who is super knowledgeable about the wild edibles and the medicinals and what is in season when. And just recently she had a post saying that this is like the best time of year to start going foraging. She listed out a few things to look for, and so we are going to go back in the woods and in the pasture area to see what we can find. Come along. So I found over here a couple things that are worthy of talking about. These are Oxide Daisies, and I've actually picked a bunch of these already and have dried them in the house for tea. These actually are good for nasal congestion associated with colds and allergies. So I have harvested and picked and dried a bunch of that for over the winter and for use when we have bad allergies and nasal congestion. But right under here, what I'm looking at here, I think this is what is called self-heal. It's a purple flower, and you can pick the flower and use the flower and the young leaves. It is an antioxidant, and it helps with wound healing. And you can also, when it's dried, combine it with yarrow to help break a fever. You can use it as a tea, you can use it as a tincture to help break fever. So I'm going to gather a bunch of this before we go back into the woods. I also just found some yarrow, which is also medicinal. It's right over here. I'm going to pick it and show you what it looks like. So what I'm interested in is the flower and the leaves. They're both medicinal. The leaves, fresh, you can actually pull off here and rub on your skin, and they're an insect repellent for mosquitoes. It's very effective. But you can also take these off, dry them. I'm going to dry them separately, but you can use yarrow in conjunction with this self-heal that I've already picked for breaking fevers. But I also wanted to show you the difference between yarrow and another flower that's blooming right now. I think it's actually the flower of a wild carrot. Some people would call this Queen Anne's lace, I think. But they look very similar, but their leaves are quite different. I'm not sure if you can see the difference. The leaves of this wild carrot are not as frilly, I guess, and it looks kind of more like dill. And the yarrow leaves have many more tiny little leaves off their main stem. So that's really the difference between the two of these, and they're easily mixed up right now. There's some more, I'm just going to drop these down. There's some more yarrow out there, and I'm going to try to fill my basket as much as I can with this. A couple days ago I pulled some of this up, and it does come with some of its roots. So I cut it off on the stem, and I planted about 5 or 6 of these, and I'm going to see if I can get them to grow just right up by the house so I don't have to go all over the place looking for it in next year's. So let's see what else we can find. I just found some baby sassafras. We have sassafras trees all over the place here, and in the spring when the babies start coming up, you can pull up the sassafras. You can use the roots. Sassafras is the original flavoring for root beer, you can pull out the roots and wash them off, cut them up, dry it up, and make a tea that tastes like root beer. There are medicinal properties to sassafras. There is some question as to whether or not sassafras has some bad properties to it. But I am going to pull some up. We're going to keep the roots, and the leaves are actually used to make original, authentic jambalaya. The leaves they taste like lemons. They're kind of citrusy tasting. You can dry it and then either powder it or just crumble it up, and you can add it to your jambalaya. So I am going to harvest this. Hopefully I can pull it out of the ground, but I'm for sure going to keep these leaves, and I'm hoping to get the roots. It did rain overnight, so maybe the ground is soft enough for me to pull it out. I am being very careful to make sure there's no poison ivy. Oh, here's some of the stem. Oh, I only got a little bit of it. I think I'm going to take I'm going to take the branch because I can harvest these leaves, and there is a little bit of root here that I think I can clean off and cut up and then dry to use in tea. So I'm going to keep it anyway. A for effort. Okay, so we just found some wild raspberry, and it's not fruiting right now, but the leaves are what I'm after right now, the young leaves. I don't remember the medicinal properties, but it's very sought after. So this is a first year cane, I can tell, because it's kind of light bluish, and if you watch, it's really pricky, but not as pricky as blackberry. It almost has like a powdery coating on it. You can see that I can kind of rub that off a little bit. This is definitely not wild blackberry. Wild blackberry it's kind of has like ridges on the stems. This is wild raspberry. So I'm going to harvest the young leaves from the first year canes to dry and to use over the winter for tea. Who knows, I might be able to barter for some other things with all the wild edibles that I'm saving and drying. So I'm going to get to work. There's a lot of nice leaves on here. Here's some more here. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I've come across what a friend has told me is called spicy oregano, and I don't know exactly what the formal name is, but you can see down here, this is what it looks like. And I've already picked a bunch of this and dried it, so I'm not going to pick any more today, but it is super spicy. Kevin actually just tried some, and it almost took his breath away. It was so spicy, and he's a spicy pepper kind of guy. So we've got this, what we believe is called spicy oregano. I want to show you an example of something that I actually harvest a lot of. I have a bunch of it dried in the house. I use it for our family. I use it for our goats. It's called mullein, and it is a big plant. We've got a couple big plants here in the woods that I come back and harvest occasionally. It's got these big leaves on it, and they're actually really fuzzy. They're fuzzy leaves, and they're used for respiratory health. You dry these and you can make a tincture out of them, or you can dry them and use them in a tea. And it helps when you have a chest cold, break up all of that thick, nasty mucus and helps bring that up. It's an expectorant. So we use this a lot. We also use this for lung health in our goats. We have one goat that came to us with lungworm, and has probably had some scarring or something in his lungs because occasionally he'll still cough. So I've been drying this so that I can powder it, or at least crush it up and add it to his grain to just promote good health, good lung health within our herd. So this is a very valuable herb, valuable wild medicinal that is great to have either in your yard or to know somewhere where you can get some. So this is mullein. Well, it looks like the last wild edible and medicinal that we are going to come upon on our little adventure this evening is some wild mint. We found a very large bush of wild mint. There are two things that lead us to believe that it's wild mint. The first is the smell. It smells exactly like mint, and also the stems are square. All of the mint family has square stems, very prominent square stems, and this is no denying that it's wild mint. It smells exactly like peppermint or spearmint, and so we are going to take a bunch of this into the house and dry it so that we can use it over the summer and over the winter in our teas. Or we might use some fresh to make some sun tea. Kevin really likes sun tea from peppermint and spearmint, so we might try the wild mint. So, you know, this concludes our adventure into the woods to gather wild edibles and some medicinals. So I'm really glad that you stopped by to watch our little adventure. And if you would please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, we would sure appreciate it. We really like having you come along. And until next time, take care and God bless.
Hey, thank you guys so much for stopping by the homestead today. We do truly appreciate every one of you for wanting to be part of our lives. We're now going to be putting out 5 new videos every week, Monday through Friday. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button below. Also, don't forget to check out the videos over here on the side. Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you next time back on the homestead. God bless.